Hey, how are you? I hope everyone's all right. I might get wet. We'll see. Um, so day 11 today. So day 10 was very similar. So this is on Concerta on the new higher dose of 36 mils after a week on the 18. Day 10 was pretty much similar to day 9 actually. So I had that spaced out feeling kick in about an hour after I took the tablet, and I also for about 20 minutes or so felt quite unsteady on my feet. So when I was walking this way to work, it was a bit like I was doing a beer shuffle with no beer. And as I mentioned, I don't like the spaced out feeling. I certainly didn't like being unsteady on my feet. That did settle down, but the spaced out feeling from about 8 o'clock, so 2 hours after I'd taken the tablet. And it's important to remember that not everybody gets the same side effects on the same dose, or any side effects. You might only get some or none, or whatever. And this for me is what's called the titration period. So it's all about testing and adjusting the dose and possibly the medication, but I don't think it's going to come to that. I think it's just the dose at the moment. It might be a little bit too high for me. Another pun. Yeah, and then it sort of, once again, it came in waves over almost the next 4 hours. It didn't go away completely, and then just before lunchtime, just before 12, I got that sort of crash again. Just felt extremely mentally tired. Had lunch. I was hydrating throughout the morning. I'd eaten before I left for work. I'd actually eaten more yesterday morning than I've had at any point since taking the tablet, and actually at any point at that time of day for a lengthy period of time. Plenty of hydration. Hydrated throughout the morning, and I will say that hydration and your good food, has got to be the best thing, because I did find after hydrating that the spaced out feeling did dissipate a bit. It's quite difficult for me to hydrate and the like where I work. We have to go on a bit of a march up to the canteen where the water is. So if you're in an office environment and you're just starting this stuff, or you're working from home, or you're just in a position where you can drink and eat at will, make sure you've got plenty with you, and just make sure you do it. But that lasted only a few minutes each time, and then the spaced out feeling was waving in and out again. Then it was just tiredness here comes the rain. Then it was just tiredness till about 20 to 4. That dissipated a bit. Then it lifted at 4 o'clock. And then by about 5:30, it was coming back in to a lesser degree. That's not that unusual at work. 9.5 hours in doing what we do can be quite tiring. So it could have been either, or a combination of both. But there we are. My focus again wasn't quite as good as it was last week on the 18 milligram. Thoughts certainly not quiet on the 36, which is another reason why I think it might be a bit too much. But it's important to keep going until you have your catch-up meeting with your practitioner, and keep taking the meds as prescribed. But yeah, the head wasn't quiet, or as quiet on Monday and Tuesday, but still far quieter than it used to be. I did make a few mistakes yesterday, more so than Monday, but again they were easily correctable, and I didn't get annoyed at myself. I was just like, I've done that, right, just sort it out. So that is a positive. But yeah, day 10 much similar to day 9. I'm not feeling, there is a tiny bit of that spaced out feeling, but nothing like I have done over the last couple of days. Certainly not unsteady on my feet this morning, which is a good thing. Just wait and see what the rest of the day brings. I've got the scheduled catch-up meeting on Friday. I am keeping a diary, which they do tell you to do, and I'm doing that. Maybe if I wasn't medicated, I wouldn't be doing that, but I am, noting times, how I felt, how much, what I've noticed, the good stuff, the bad stuff, so that they can then make a judgment call on whether I need to stay on the 36 milligram or whether they're going to look at changing that. But there we are. As I said, I'd keep going. I am, and because you have to, otherwise you're just not going to find out. So it may settle down further tomorrow. Who knows? And I suspect the reason that I wasn't spaced out on Sunday, the first day I was on this new higher dose, was because I was able to eat and drink when I wanted. It wasn't a case of I'll try and tie this in with a wee break and then go off for a bit of a quest up to the canteen. So yes, there we are. If you're struggling, you've got to reach out, and there we are. And if you are going through titration, I know someone else who is, they've just changed their meds, just stay in contact with your practitioner, let them know, test and adjust, and just there may well be a period of uncomfortableness, if that's the word, because there's no growth in comfort, is there? Hopefully there won't be, but there has been in a small way for me. It's important, having noticed what I did last week, that I want to get to the optimum point and crack on from there. So have a good day. See you later.